Hi guys, it's Sam Day here from daytips.com and welcome to another Day Tips Live. So in this live, I'm speaking all about e-commerce marketing, so selling your products online. I know I haven't got a proper schedule for you guys yet. I'm working on getting a proper schedule together so you guys know when I'm going live. And you can catch it live. But the awesome thing about these lives is you can also catch them on replay as well. But if you are here with me live and you're selling products online, you might be drop shipping, you might be doing marketplaces like eBay, Amazon, you might be thinking about doing Shopify. Then stay with me live, ask me your questions. I'm only planning to be on here for a short period of time, but if I do get a lot of questions in, then I will make sure I answer all of them before I finish up live. So just to kind of quickly tell you what I wanted to kind of cover in this session was e-commerce marketing, picking the right products online. And once you have your products, how to go about that. I'm going to touch on drop shipping and some of the things that you want to keep in mind with regards to drop shipping, but with a little bit of a twist. You may already know what I'm going to say if you have seen some of my other e-commerce marketing videos, but I kind of wanted to put it together. Now, this will probably be a series-based thing where I do speak about a lot more about, e-commerce marketing because it's such a big topic. And I know a lot of my subscribers actually are selling physical products online through marketplaces, through Shopify, through WooCommerce, through Squarespace, through Wix, whatever platform or means you're doing, or if you're doing drop shipping. And if you know someone who is selling a product online and they're having difficulties, then send them a link to this live, get them asking their questions, and hopefully I can help some of you guys out. And if you're watching this live after the fact, then do leave your comments in the comment section as well, because I will come back to the comment section and answer all of your questions if I don't get to answer it live. And like I said, there will be other videos as well that I do live on e-commerce marketing. So this is not going to be the only time. I've already seen some comments coming through. I'm going to get to them, I do promise. So please leave your comments at any stage in this live and I will get to them. So yeah, first and foremost, I want to speak about the two types of things that you want to keep in mind when selling products online. So first and foremost, you have market penetration, but you also have market creation. And this is what a lot of people don't speak about online as well. If you're doing market penetration, then that is when you're trying to penetrate an already existing market for your product. So a great way to do this is to go onto eBay. eBay is the best platform by far to be utilizing your research for when you're thinking about selling a product online, because it gives you so much data that one of my favorite entrepreneurs, Theo Paphitis, he's one of the dragons on the Dragon's Den. In his book, he always says that you want to stack the cards in your favor when it comes to business. And when you go onto eBay, you can see exactly what products are selling. You can see what's sold, how many someone has sold in the last hour. You can click on a product listing and see how much has sold in the last 24 hours, in the last 2 or 3 or 4 days, or even in the last week. So that's where you want to start, particularly if you're doing market penetration. So again, just to repeat, market penetration is when there is already an existing demand for a product and you want to penetrate that market by also selling that product or a product that is very similar to that product. Now, that can be really effective. So some of the advantages to market penetration is that, yes, there's already an existing demand. Some of the drawbacks is that there's already competition in that market. So this is where some people go wrong just because a product is selling extremely well. So if you do some research, you go onto eBay and a product is selling really well, just because you buy that exact same product at a reasonable price, and let's say you're able to make a profit selling it and compete on platforms such as eBay, Amazon, or on your own website, it doesn't necessarily mean right out of the gate that your product is going to sell. This is a common misconception. Your product might not sell because there might just be way too many people selling that product. So it might be what is known in marketing as a saturated market. So that's something that you want to keep in mind as well. So the first question we have is, so how do I actually sell my products successfully? That's a great question. And if you stay to this live to the end, then you're going to learn some strategies. I promise you. If you kind of give me some more context in terms of what products you're selling as well, then I'll be able to kind of address those questions kind of more specifically as well. We got Manho as well. Great to have you in the live. Again, if you've got any specific questions, then do let me know. But hi guys, it's great being here with you live again. So we've just explained what market penetration is. That's the method that I highly recommend that you utilize, is market penetration. There's already an existing demand, but the main thing you want to keep in mind is that market too saturated? Are there too many sellers? Like, you can literally just go onto eBay, Amazon, and Google and see how many people are selling the product that you plan to penetrate. If there's way too many and you feel like it's a competition, then that could be, a thing for you that stands out and says, wait, although this product is selling really well, am I going to compete effectively? Now, one of the ways in which you can I'm going to be sharing, like, if I normally say this on my lives, guys, I get excited at some point in my lives. Normally it's not this early on, but I'm going to be sharing with you a great tip. Now, I used to use this myself personally. Now, this is a really great tip. If you get nothing else from this live, like, I hope you guys stay to the end, because there's going to be a lot of value that I give. But this is by far the most important tip and the cleverest tip that you can actually utilize with regards to selling products online, even before you start selling products online. And that is drop shipping. Now, before you click off this video and think, Sam, I know about drop shipping, I've been doing drop shipping, or I've heard about it. There's actually a way in which you can do it so that you can be more profitable. So I've never really used drop shipping. I mean, I've done it in the past, but I've never really used drop shipping in the way that it's taught and in the way that most people use it as a business model. I use it predominantly as a market research tool. So let's say, for example, I go onto eBay and I see this pen. Let's say this pen is selling 10 units a day. And there's quite a few people selling it, but I'm like, rah, that's a really great pen. So many people are successful selling this pen. I know if I can locate this pen or a similar pen, and if I can locate that, and if I can get that pen into stock and sell that effectively, I know there's an existing demand. So I want to penetrate the market, but I'm not sure yet how well it's going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find this product elsewhere on the internet. I'm going to find another supplier of this product, and I'm going to just list that product either on my website or on Amazon or on eBay, and I'm going to drop ship that product. If you guys don't know what drop shipping is, then do let me know in the comment section, but I'm going to assume that you guys know what it is. It's, quite simply when you don't have the product in your inventory, but you're selling it anyway, and you kind of just buy the products and send it to your customer after the fact. That's basically what drop shipping is. But what you can do is say I want to buy this product in bulk. I want to buy it in wholesale because I know it's a product selling well. I'm going to drop ship that product on my Shopify store or on my Amazon store or on my eBay store. And I don't mind if I make a loss. Why don't I mind if I make a loss? Because I'm testing the market. So if I buy 500 of these, then it's cheaper for me than if I buy 100 of these, right? Because that's just how economies of scale works. That's how e-commerce works. That's just how commerce works in general. The more you buy, the cheaper your unit cost will be. I hope this is making sense to you guys. Again, if it's not making sense, this is why I do these types of things live, so you can ask questions. But if I buy 500 units of these, my supplier is very likely to charge me less than if I buy 100. So I want to buy as many of these as possible, but I want to know that they're actually going to sell when I actually buy them. So I drop ship them first before I make a wholesale purchase. I drop ship them first on my website, on eBay or on Amazon, and I see what the demand is going to be. No, I don't mind. I don't care about making a profit necessarily. I just want to see how many units I'm going to sell. So let's say I put it on my Shopify store and I optimize that Shopify store for SEO and I get it ranking and it's generating me 5 sales a day or 10 sales a day, or it's generating me, reasonable amounts of traffic and sales, or I put it on eBay and Amazon and it's generating me loads of sales and I'm drop shipping it to my customer. Great. I know now, before I've even purchased that wholesale, I already know that that's a product that is selling at 5 units a day, roughly. So I know that I can actually now go ahead and buy my 500 units or my 300 units or 400 units. And I know roughly, exactly how many units I'm expecting to sell per day. So I know how much I can buy from my wholesale supplier without having dead stock in my inventory. Now, I hope that this is making sense to you guys. This is all before the fact, preparatory research. When it comes to e-commerce, it's all about selling products that are in demand. So smelling what sells. So I hope that makes sense to a lot of you guys. And I hope you start to implement some of these strategies, especially when you're starting to do market penetration and you're not 100% sure what the demand of a product is going to be. Don't just go and risk money up front. You want to stack the cards in your favor, like Theo Profitas says. You want to get as much research as possible, and you want to test the market before you go out there and spend some real wholesale money. Now, the second tip I would give, just as a bonus tip for those of you who are doing planning to do wholesale, so buying stock and wholesaling and selling individual units, you want to test your supplier out as well. So you might not want to buy a huge bulk from a supplier that you've just learned about on the internet. This is how a lot of people get burnt online, is that they're utilizing suppliers that they basically they're trusting their suppliers way too early in the game. But you want to make sure that you are actually utilizing suppliers that will actually come up with the goods for you. So if you're using a supplier that you haven't used before, don't go and spend a load of money with them. Get a test. Any good supplier will send you a test product. So suppliers normally have a certain amount, a limit amount of products that they send. So for example, they might have a minimum, you might have to make a minimum order of 100 units in order for them to even send something to you. But if you contact them and say, hey, look, I want to work with you, but I want to test the products that you're selling. Can I buy 20 as a test batch? Then get those 20, make sure that the product is quality, and make sure that obviously the supplier doesn't run away with your money. And even if they do, it's only 20 products and not 100 products. So hopefully that makes sense to you. So I'm going to answer a few questions. If you do have questions, then leave them in the chat. Crypto Learning says, hey, could you talk about selling a service online too, please? Yeah, let me know what kind of service it is that you're selling, and I'll go specifically into that later on in this live. But this live is predominantly about product and e-commerce. I do have other lives as well, which is about selling your services online, and I will be doing other lives as well. But yeah, if you let me know what service it is particularly that you're selling, then I'll do my best to answer that towards the end. We got Manho, it says, could you talk about selling on Amazon merch if you have time? Yes, I'm definitely going to touch on that. Could you please tell me how to sell branded clothes and shoes successfully? So yeah, I'm going to go into that a little bit. So I spoke about market penetration, but there's also something known as market creation. So this kind of goes into the whole selling branded clothes. You might also be selling something that is a little bit different, or it might be very, very different, that you haven't really seen someone sell before. It's innovative. There's not a lot of people selling it. This comes with pros and cons as well. There might not necessarily be an already existing market, an already existing demand for the products that you're planning to put to market. So that could be an issue because you don't necessarily know. You can't do any drop shipping. You can't gather any data from eBay and Amazon and seeing what your competitors are selling. But whatever product you are selling, you have to keep in mind who your target customer is. This is a running theme with all of my videos and all of my lives. who is the end user, who is your customer, and who is your consumer. So just to quickly go over that, simple marketing. Your customer is the person who makes the purchase. Your consumer is the person who uses your product. So for example, if I'm buying gardening gear for my mum for Mother's Day, then I am the customer. Someone sells me the product and I'm the customer. But the person using it is my mum. She's the consumer. You need to keep both of these people in mind when you're planning to market, sell, and create your products, because this is going to help you to sell your products online more effectively when you know who is buying it and you know who is using it. You want to market to the person who's buying it, but you want to also make sure your product appeals to the person who's using it so that they can recommend it, and that there's no refunds and so on and so forth. You can get repeat customers back to your business. Now I'm seeing all of your questions come up in the chat. I promise I will get to all of them. Leave them for me as I'm speaking and I will get to them. So with market creation, there's not necessarily an existing demand, but who is serving the customer that you are trying to reach? So if, for example, I create a new microphone and I'm like, yeah, cool, this microphone is a different microphone. No one's ever seen it before. You don't need a mic stand for it. Maybe it just floats in midair by itself. There's nothing like that on the market yet. So there's no necessarily a proven demand for that microphone. So how am I going to know if it's going to sell well if there's no sales history, there's no competitors yet? Well, there is someone already serving that niche, and the people who are already selling microphones, you want to go and do some research, see what the best selling microphone is, see what the reviews are saying. Why is this the best selling microphone? There might be something specific. So you might notice when you're reading the reviews that a lot of people are saying that it's comfortable to hold. So if a lot of people are saying that in the reviews, then you need to make sure that your microphone is comfortable to hold. And not only that, but you want to make sure that you articulate that when you are posting the listings for your product. So if you're posting your eBay, your Amazon listing, your Shopify listing, you want to figure out why people buy the best microphones and articulate the fact that your microphone is also great. It also serves that purpose as well. So just get into a couple of questions. What kind of business do you think will come out of this quarantine? Great question. I mean, I think there's going to be loads of different innovative businesses. I think there's going to be a lot of people doing online stuff, a lot of e-commerce ideas that come out of it, and so on and so forth. What's niche marketing? So niche marketing is basically when you're serving a particular segment of people. So going back to my example of if you were selling a microphone, then you're going to want to do niche marketing, because not everybody in the world needs a microphone. But who is it that needs a microphone? It might be singers, it might be rappers, it might be DJs. So you can get really specific with who you're going to target with this particular microphone. And the more targeted you get, obviously, the less of a client base you have, but the more sales you might make, because you're able to create a product and you're able to create marketing materials that appeals to a specific demographic, a specific person. So the more of a niche you can get, that could really help you out with marketing your products online. So that's kind of like the premise basically of market creation, market penetration, some of the things that you want to keep in mind. As I mentioned, you want to smell what sells. So before you inventory any product, before you decide to drop ship any product, before you decide to do print on demand. So if you're doing merch by Amazon or whatever it is you're doing, make sure there's an existing demand already in that niche. So the next thing you want to do is you want to make sure once you've got your product, so assuming you already have your product and you're like, cool, how do I get my product out there to reach as many people as possible and to generate as many sales as possible? Firstly, again, you need to go back and think, who is this product for? And how do I reach them? So basic marketing, you want to start thinking about, your target customer. So going back to my example of gardening, if you had a gardening product, you want to get into the minds of people who are gardeners, get into the mind of people who will buy your product, and you want to market on the platforms that they are on. So for example, There might be, Instagram influencers who speak a lot about gardening. I done a live about influencer marketing. You want to make sure that if they've got the attention of your target customers, reach out to that influencer and be like, hey, look, I sell a gardening product. I want you to review it. How much do you charge? You want to get your products in front of the people who are most likely to buy. So that's something that you really want to keep in mind. Another thing you want to keep in mind is make sure your product is listed in as many places as possible. Stop being like hung up on, oh, I'm not going to put my product on eBay, because, I've heard people say like they're not going to put their product on eBay because eBay is associated with, cheap goods or whatnot. And my product is a high-end product. Like, just get off of that high horse. Get off of that high horse. The biggest and best brands in the world are selling on eBay. So if the biggest and best brands in the world are selling on eBay, you should be selling on eBay too. Sell on eBay, sell on Amazon, and sell on your own website. And if your product is also able to be sold on Etsy, so if you're selling a product that's handmade or that meets Etsy's requirements, be on Etsy as well. Sell on as many marketplaces as possible, because you never know where your sales are going to come from. So we've got some questions. My friend Bob actually started a tattoo business. You were very helpful. I'm glad that this live has been helpful so far. Is target marketing the same as niche marketing? So yes, it's very similar. So target marketing is, when you're targeting a specific person, and niche marketing as well is when you're kind of operating in a specific niche. So yeah, they are very similar. Could I shout him? Could I shout him? I'm not sure what you mean by that. So Moneymaker, great to see Moneymaker. You're always in these lives, which is awesome. I think when selecting a product, you also need to think about advertising costs, PPC cost, as this varies from product to product. And it's really great that you mentioned that, Moneymaker. You always have some really great insights to add to these lives, which is incredible. It kind of helps to bring me into my next point, which is about having a product line. Specifically, if you guys are selling on your own website, which I highly recommend that you do. There's so many benefits. Although I said be on Amazon and be on eBay, there's so many benefits to selling on your own website. And one of the things you need to make sure you do is have a product line if you can. Like, it's really important for you to have a product line and a product range. Have a range of products that, as people have been speaking about in the chat, that meet a specific niche. I see so many people making this mistake. They're selling hair products, and then they're selling gardening products, and they're selling products for children, and they're selling products for teenagers, and there's no real niche, and it's going to be really difficult for you to get that website and that business off the ground. If you pick one niche and sell products within that niche, then the advertising costs are a lot cheaper. Like what Moneymaker was saying, your advertising costs go down. Now, I'm going to explain why. Let's say, for example, you're selling children's clothes. Yeah, on your website, you're selling children's clothes. You only need like one supplier, one wholesale supplier, because one wholesale supplier that you trust and you can buy your products from. Now, if you're selling bikes and you're selling trainers and you're selling all these different things, chances are you're going to need loads of different suppliers. This is going to cost you money. If you invest £5,000, for example, in one supplier, it doesn't matter if you have 10 different products that you buy from that one supplier. The fact that you're giving that supplier £5,000, they're going to discount your order, so you're going to get more for your money. Your unit cost goes down, which means that you can either spend more on advertising and still make a profit. So you might have noticed, if you guys sell on marketplaces, you might have noticed there are some sellers that sell products really cheap, and you're like, how is he even selling it that cheap and making a profit, and including shipping and all of that? You're thinking, how is he doing this? How is this person doing this? Because you can't find this product at that price. Normally, it's because the person selling at that cheap has a really good relationship with their supplier. So if you have you just want one or two suppliers and buy all of your products. Eventually, you build up a relationship with the supplier. You don't just send them 5 grand, from meeting them on the internet yesterday. So you develop a relationship with that supplier. You invest heavily in one supplier in one niche, and then your unit cost goes down. It's simple economies of scale. It's known as economies of scale in business and in marketing. It's that when you're spending more in in a targeted place, as someone was mentioning in the chat, when you're spending more in a targeted place, you get more for your money. So your money goes further. You get more products for a less price, and you're able to actually sell cheaper than someone who is selling in loads of different niches. You're able to get products a lot cheaper than them. You can outmarket them, and you can outsell them and outprice them as well. So that is a really great tip for you guys as well. And also, why do you need a product range? Why is it good for you to be selling, if you're selling children's clothes, why is it good for you to be selling more than just one item? Well, it's all about customer retention. I done a live not too long ago about customer retention, but it can be really expensive for you to get a new customer. So you might be doing Google ads. Maybe you do product placement ads on Google. Maybe you're doing Facebook ads or whatnot. And it might cost you a lot of money to get one customer. So let's say every time someone comes to your website and makes a purchase, let's say that it costs you £10. So for every £10 you spend in advertisement on Google ads or on Facebook, so every £10 you spend, on average, you get one customer, and that one customer spends £11 on your website. That means you're only making £1 in profit. And that doesn't even necessarily cover the time that you've invested. If that kept on happening, then you're going to be out of business very soon. You're going to give up on that. But what you want to do is, number one, you want to make sure you're upselling. You want to make sure you're upselling or cross-selling. So upselling is when someone is about to make a purchase, or maybe they've made their purchase, and instead of sending them straight to a normal checkout page, you send them to a page which offers them an upsell, something a little bit more expensive than what they've just purchased. But you can also send them to a cross-sell page, which means that you're sending them products, send them to a page which recommends products that are similar to the product that they are about to buy or that they have just bought. And Amazon do this really well. Amazon use what's known as an also bought strategy. So when you go onto Amazon, maybe you're going on there and you're buying a new watch, you will notice that when you scroll down, you will see something that says people who bought this watch also bought. Or you might see a collection of products that say these products work well together. If you've shopped on Amazon recently, you would have seen this, because Amazon understand the importance of getting as much value as possible from the people who visit their site. So you can add this to your site. It's not impossible. If you're using Shopify, go to the Shopify app store and look for also bought apps. And this allows you to kind of implement that on your Shopify website. If you're using WooCommerce, then go to the WordPress plugins store and look for also bought apps as well. So this will automatically help you to populate that same thing that Amazon has. So when someone comes to your website and they're going to buy your children's clothes, they can actually also see, oh, people who bought these children's shoes also bought these children's hat. Like, that actually works well together. That will go well together. Let me buy that. And so now what you're doing is you're increasing your average order value. So your average order value is the amount that someone on average spends when they visit your website. So if you remember in my scenario before, I was saying that, let's say it costs you £10 to get one customer and your customer spends £11. So your average order value is £11 just by adding that, that also bought feature, and by making sure you have a range of products in the same niche on your website, you can increase your average order value. So let's say now that it still costs you £10 to get a new customer, but now, let's say 1 out of every 10 person who buys leaves with an extra product because you've upsold, you've cross-sold, or you've added that also bought feature. So now they're leaving with an average of £15 worth of products rather than just 11. So that's helping you to increase your average order value, and it's more profitable. I'm seeing the chat, guys, and I promise you I will get to the chat. But I just want to finish up on this point here, and that you want to be doing retargeting as well, retargeting and remarketing. So let me start off with retargeting. So pixel retargeting is when you have a pixel on your website. You should 100% be doing this if you're doing paid advertisements, but you can also do this if most of your traffic you're planning to get from social media marketing or from SEO as well. So what it is if you're doing, for example, Facebook ads, then Facebook will give you a pixel. You utilize that pixel on your website, and someone who comes to your website, you can remarket to them when they visit YouTube or when they visit Instagram or when they visit Pinterest or another platform, basically. So you would have seen this again with websites like Amazon. Let's say you go to Amazon, you're searching for a watch, you click on the watch, maybe you even add the watch to your add to cart button, but you don't buy. You will notice that when you go onto, when you go onto YouTube, you start seeing now adverts for that watch, and you're thinking, wait, how did they know? It's because of pixel retargeting. And you can also utilize pixel retargeting by going to your Google Analytics and adding your pixel retargeting code from Google Analytics to your website. This works on all websites. You don't have to be a genius. Just go onto Google and literally research how to install the Google Analytics pixel retargeting code on your website. So this works if you're using Wix, Weebly, Joomla, Shopify, WordPress, WooCommerce, like whatever platform you're using, you will be able to actually, utilize that Google Analytics tracking code. I'm going to do a live probably specifically on utilizing retargeting and how to remarket and get people back to your site. So simply, just before I come off of this point, let's say now someone's visiting your website and it costs you £10 to get a new customer to your website. And at first they were spending £11. So your average order value was £11. You was making £1 profit. Now you added the also bought, and maybe you added an upsell and some cross sells. So now people are spending £15 with you. And now you're doing some retargeting ads as well. So the people who don't buy, they can see your ads again on Facebook. Maybe they were thinking about buying, or maybe they got distracted before they bought. You can bring them back to your website, and that might increase now your average order value as well, and increase the amount of people who are actually making purchases on your website. And that can bring your profit margins up, and bring your customers up as well. And lastly, on the remarketing front, before I take your questions, email marketing. Email marketing, email marketing, email marketing. Even just saying that word, some of you guys might jump off this live, because email marketing is not popular. But I want you guys to go and check your emails. Just check your emails and see how many emails you get from some of the top companies around at the moment. So the companies that you do business with, how many emails do you get from them? How many emails do you get from Amazon? How many do you get from, if you're using Spotify, how many do you get from Spotify? How many do you get from Amazon Prime? How many do you get from Netflix? How many do you get from Uber? These are some of the biggest brands in our industry. Even look at Facebook. Facebook's constantly emailing me about who posted what and why they posted this. And, I'm getting all of them updates. If I don't log into Facebook for a little while, they're sending me emails telling me about who posted this, because email is a driver. It drives people back to your website. It drives leads and it drives sales. So you should be utilizing email. Just quickly, the basics of email marketing. I'm going to do a live on email marketing, so I'm not going to get into the nuts of bolts into the nuts and bolts of it in this live. So do make sure you're following me on Instagram, because I'm going to be putting out on Instagram when I'm live. That's @daytips. And also make sure you have your notifications turned on for this YouTube channel, so you know when I'm going live. So if I'm going live on a topic that is important for you, then you want to make sure you catch me live, so you can actually ask your questions live as well. So do make sure you turn those notifications on. But essentially, some of the basics with email marketing is, first and foremost, you obviously want to make sure you're doing it. Some of the platforms that I recommend Aweber is a platform I recommend. If you've been following me for any length of time, you will know I'm a huge advocate of Aweber. It's not because they pay me. I don't have any sponsorships from Aweber. I've never been sponsored from Aweber. I am an affiliate for Aweber. So if you are signing up for Aweber, then you can use my affiliate code daytips.com. That's DEYTIPS.com/Aweber. But even if you don't use my affiliate code, I don't care. I just want you guys to succeed. Just go to Aweber and purchase an Aweber account. There's also MailChimp. MailChimp is free for a certain amount of subscribers. I also did a video not too long ago on how to utilize MailChimp. So if you don't want to spend upfront money, then you can use MailChimp and you can look at my free tutorial on how to utilize it. Now, there are some limits to using the free version, but, you know, it's out there. There's also Constant Contact. You know, there's, you know, just get out there and use some platform. If you don't know which one to use, go ahead and use Aweber or MailChimp. Secondly, you want to make sure that your email marketing platform, let's say, for example, you're going with Aweber, you want to make sure that your Aweber account is attached to your products. So that means when someone makes a purchase on your website, whether that be Shopify, Wix, WooCommerce, Joomla, whatever it is, you want to make sure when someone makes a product that they are automatically sent to your email list. Now, you might have noticed when you purchase certain products on the internet, there's a little checkbox that says, would you like to receive newsletter information, or would you like to receive discounts through email? And if they select yes on that, then they will be automatically put onto your email list. So that's number one. Number two, with email marketing, to make it effective and so that you can sell your products better, is you want to create what's known as tags. So within Aweber, within MailChimp, within Constant Contact, within whatever platform you're using, you can tag people who join your email list. So like I said, you want a product range. You want to have a range of products on your website, but you also want to keep track of who has bought what and who hasn't bought what. So like I said, if you're selling children's clothes, you might be selling scarves for children and hats for children and shoes for children. Now, someone on your email list might have bought the scarves and the shoes, but maybe they haven't bought the hat yet. So if you want to do a discount and promote the hat, you don't want to send it to people who've already bought the hat. So you can tag people who've already bought the scarf and the shoes and exclude them, and only send an email to your entire list of people who haven't bought that hat yet. So that's one thing that you can do. You want to make sure you're tagging people and segmenting your list in that way. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on how to do this effectively for your e-commerce business. So again, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and keep that bell notification button on. You know, feel free to harass me literally on social media. I'm on every platform. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on WhatsApp. My WhatsApp details are always in the description of my YouTube videos. So whatever platform you feel comfortable with contacting me, I'm literally here to help you guys. I want to see you guys be a success. So those are the two things that you want to do. You make sure your email marketing software is attached to some sort of to all of your products on your website, and make sure that you are tagging people, and make sure you're emailing your list often as well. And I have a ton of videos on this channel about email marketing best practices, and some of the things that you can do to kind of get more email subscribers as well. So yeah, I'm going to try and get to some of your questions, and then I'm going to end out. So if you do have any questions for me, then please do leave them. This is the time that you should leave them out, that you should leave your comments. Just say Bob Olgin. I hope I said that right. Bob Olgin has I believe he has a product. So shout out to you, Bob. Could you provide us with a list of sites to sell our products on, or services? In terms of third-party platforms, so you have obviously your own website where you want to sell, and the best platforms, in my opinion, to sell your products on, number one up there at the moment is probably Shopify, guys. It's probably Shopify. That's the platform you want to be on. It's great for SEO. I have a video on this YouTube channel about Shopify SEO. And people who have watched that video have had really good success with their Shopify SEO. So SEO, just for those of you who don't know, when you start selling your product, you want your product to be showing up in Google when people are searching for that product. And SEO is the way in which you manipulate your site so that it appeases the major search engines. So you can hopefully show up in Google for the keywords that are important for you. So Shopify is a great platform. WooCommerce has to come in very, very, very close second. I would even argue that maybe it might even be better than Shopify in some aspects as well, and depending on what you're trying to do. So Shopify and WooCommerce are definitely up there. Number 3 for me would be BigCommerce. It's not as popular as the top 2, but BigCommerce also is really good as well. You also have platforms like Squarespace and Wix, and those platforms are also good as well. If you are finding like Shopify, or if you're finding WooCommerce like a little bit difficult to utilize, then you can use those. Those platforms are easier. And then obviously you have your third-party platforms as well. So you should be listing your products on Amazon. You should be listing your products on eBay. You should be listing your products, if applicable, on Etsy. If you're trying to do more kind of like physical sales as well, you should be on Gumtree, on Depop, on Spock, be on all of the apps as well. Just be everywhere, see what works for you, see what works for your products, and see where your sales are coming from. And then you can focus on those, but make sure you have your own website as well, because obviously you can't do email marketing, you can't do retargeting on third-party platforms. You can only do them on platforms that you actually own. So that's a really great question. Okay, so I'm looking at some of the other questions. So if I am selling through Amazon merch, can I have a website that links to it when customers buy? You should be, yeah, you should be able to. If you're selling on merch, I'm not sure about Amazon merch specifically, but there's loads of different, merch providers out there. So print on demand providers out there. You have Redbubble, you have Zazzle, and obviously you have Amazon merch. So even if Amazon merch don't have the functionality where you can kind of market and sell, make sure you're choosing a platform a merch platform that has the needs and the capabilities that you need it to do. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. And just quickly, because I know Manho, I think it was Manho, asked as well about Amazon merch and some of the things you want to keep in mind. Amazon merch is a platform. And platforms like print on demand platforms are platforms where you can upload as many designs as as you can. So if you're selling products through Amazon merch or Zazzle or or any of these other platforms, you want to make sure that you're creating as many designs as you can. Optimize those designs for SEO. So make sure you have the keywords in your title, in your description and whatnot, and make sure you're competitive in terms of your pricing. But I think the aim of the game there is to really try and just create loads of different designs and see what's going to pop for you. Make sure you're doing your research as well. See what designs are popular. See if there's any way for you to penetrate the market. And also, like you were saying, you can actually create your own store and then utilize print on demand. I think print on demand is an incredible opportunity for a lot of you guys as well. So I'm going to probably be doing more videos on print on demand. Is Spock trustworthy? It depends on how you utilize it. I've got a video on Spock and I'm getting mixed reviews in the comment section about Spock, but I've had people who've had great experiences and I've also had people who haven't had such great experiences. I think you just have to be wise and know that it's a platform where loads of different sellers are on. It's a fairly new platform as well. It's not as old as eBay and Amazon, so they're going to get it wrong in terms of some of their regulations. And it's a lot more difficult to regulate a website like Spock as well, where a lot of the payments are done outside of the platform. So you just have to be aware of that and kind of, make sure you take caution. So what other questions do we have? My friend has a tattoo business called Two Bros Tacos. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to Two Bros Tacos. Moneymaker is saying it makes it easier for implementation of retargeting ads for similar products. 100%. So what Moneymaker is talking about there is if you have your own product, it makes it easier for your retargeting and for email marketing. So there's things that you just can't do on marketplaces. So marketplaces have their advantages as well. So there's advantages and there's different disadvantages to putting your products on marketplaces. That's why I recommend selling on both, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. Obviously, if you're selling on a marketplace, there's already an existing customer base. So there's loads of people. I don't have a statistic, but I'm guessing like hundreds of thousands of people a day, if not more, shopping on, for example, Amazon merch or Amazon or eBay every day. So there's already a customer base. People trust brands like Amazon as well. So people are more comfortable with spending money on these platforms. Whereas when you start a website, people don't know you yet. There's not existing demand. You have to actually drive customers to you. But that's okay, because that's what this YouTube channel is all about. Also, the formula is behind me. I should have shouted that out earlier. If you guys haven't downloaded the formula yet, it's not just something I promote. Believe me, I don't promote things I don't believe in. I wrote it. I put my sweat, blood, and tears into writing it. And when you download it for free, you'll also be on my mailing list. You'll be on my email list, and I email out once a week as well. And I try to email out things that are going to be useful for you, things that will help you to boost your business. Obviously, if you get an email and it's just not related to you, then you can just skip that email. But I guarantee you, if you stay on that list for long enough, you're going to receive information that's going to help you to skyrocket your business in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, make sure you grab your free copy of the formula. Just go to my website, daytips.com. That's DEYTIPS.com, and grab your free copy. And you can also respond to any email as well that I send to you. Respond to it, ask me questions. And I want to know as much about your business as possible so I can help you guys out. We've got Rennie in the chat that sends a hi. Thank you for being here. Is it hard to be successful on Shopify? It's hard to be successful anywhere, to be 100% honest. It's hard to be successful anywhere. You need to implement the right kinds of marketing strategies, some of which I've spoken about in this live, a lot of which I speak about in the formula and on this YouTube channel. You have to put in the work. It's hard to be anywhere. It's hard to be on Shopify. It's hard to be on eBay. It's hard to be on Amazon. It's going to be in a lot of ways a little bit more difficult to sell on Shopify and WooCommerce than it would to be on eBay and Amazon, because like I said, eBay and Amazon already have existing customers that buy from there every single day. They've already built out a brand, so it's going to be easier in some ways, but it's still difficult. There's still a lot of competition, and there's still a lot of people who get eBay and Amazon wrong. So yeah, and anything worthwhile is going to be really difficult. Good evening from Michigan, Wilbur. So sorry if I said your name wrong, but really good evening to you. Thank you so much for being here live. I really hope you got some value from it. Manho says, thanks, Sam. Like smashed, awesome. Thank you for the like. Where can I find the formula to download? So on my website, DEYTIPS.com. So go to daytips.com. It's the very first thing you will see is the formula. It's all over that website. And you can even click on another video, click on one of my other YouTube videos. I don't think it's in the description yet for this. Actually, I can put it in the chat right here, daytips.com/the formula. And it came out in all caps. I didn't mean for it to come out in all caps, but it just did. But yeah, so you can copy that, paste that into your browser, and you can download the formula. Moneymaker saying, what do you think about using native ads to drive traffic to a Shopify store? I think when it comes to driving ads, and I've said this in so many different YouTube videos, but I think that you have to test a lot of things. So there's not necessarily one traffic source that's better than the other. I didn't go into paid traffic too much in this video because I am going to be speaking about paid traffic in another live, so I didn't want to get lost in it. I spoke about it a little bit, but you want to make sure you're testing, because you never really know what's going to work until you're doing it and until you're seeing success. So if you're testing native ads, then have a budget for it and have a time frame for it. Test it. Make sure you're implementing all of the marketing strategies that I speak about in my formula and on my YouTube channel. And if you're the beautiful thing is, my channel is not huge. I don't have a huge YouTube channel yet, which is great, which means you can literally send me an email if you're having issues with an ad, or if you're having problems with your Facebook ad or your Google ad. I'm trying to make myself as accessible as possible. So make sure, please, just email me if you're having any issues. Outbrain, i.e. Outbrain, Taboola. I haven't used those platforms. So I'm going to definitely go away and look at them and then hopefully do a video on them and give you my 2 cents. I would always recommend using platforms, especially if you're new to doing online ads. And even if you're old to doing online ads, use platforms that are kind of well known, and unless you're doing solo ads. I've done a YouTube video on solo ads, and I'm going to do a live as well on not just solo ads, but just different paid traffic sources and things you want to keep in mind with different paid traffic sources. So yeah, that's something that you guys want to keep in mind. So I believe those are all of the questions, and that's everything I wanted to get through in this live. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be doing a follow-up to this. It's so incredible seeing all of your questions in the chat. But if you're watching this and we're not live anymore, so if I'm off live, then please do leave your questions in the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer them. And I may answer it in a future live as well if it's a question that I feel needs to kind of be addressed more. Also, we've got thanks, you helped a lot. I'm grateful that I was able to help you guys. If you want to make sure you don't miss another live that might be applicable to you and your business, 2 things you need to do: subscribe to this channel, click that bell notification button so you get notified whenever I am going live. Also, follow me on Instagram, the @daytips. So that's I can put it in the chat here. Make sure you're following @daytips on Instagram. I'm going to be posting there as much as possible when I'm going live. Menho says, thanks, got the formula, cheers. Awesome. I haven't actually announced this yet, but I'm going to be coming out with a volume 2 very soon of the formula as well. And I'll be sending it to everybody who has already downloaded the formula as well. But I'm going to be updating it very soon and adding some information to it, just to help keep it fresh. But if you haven't downloaded it, make sure you download the formula as well. And like I said, you'll be on my email list, and let's stay connected. If there's questions you want to ask and you didn't get to ask it in the live chat, then DM me, the @daytips Instagram, and I'll answer your questions there. But yeah, until the next live, guys, it's been a pleasure. Have a great evening. I hope you guys are staying safe and well during this whole coronavirus issues. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope your businesses aren't suffering too much, and that you're staying healthy and that you're staying safe. My thoughts and my prayers are with you guys. But until next time, guys, have an amazing evening, afternoon, night, morning, whatever part of the world you're in, and I will see you soon.